Hi there, it's Mark Carlson here. So this week's video I want to explain to you The Work by Byron Katie and how you can use it really effectively to transform your life quickly. Come on in. So The Work, Byron Katie. Judge your neighbour, write it down, ask 4 questions and then turn it around. So what does that mean? Let me explain it to you. So judge your neighbour, write it down. Now here's the important part. Well, it's all important, but here's an important part. The way you judge your neighbour, I find, is crucial to getting a better result. And the way that I judge my neighbour, now judging your neighbour means judge anybody. So anyone that is bugging you, that you write down in the following way how they're bugging you. So you write down they should be. So if somebody's being lazy, for example, and that really bugs you, then you would write down they should stop being lazy. They should, and then you write down what they should be. That's what I found the easiest way to get the best results. So you judge your neighbour, you write it down. So let's use lazy. So when you meet Fred and he's lazy all the time, it really upsets you and you want to blame him. But the purpose of Fred being there, or anybody for that matter, that's upsetting you is reflecting you. That's why we do this work. So we want to heal that part of ourselves, okay? So judge your neighbour, write it down. Fred should stop being so lazy. There's my judgment, okay? Now the 4 questions are, number 1, is it true that Fred should stop being so lazy? Yes or no? Well, yes, because he really bugs me when he's lazy, right? That's the first question. The second question, are you as big as God to know that Fred should stop being so lazy? Now, of course, the answer to that is no, because I'm not as big as God, clearly. And should Fred stop being lazy? That's like saying the cat should be a dog and then I'll be happy. Or in other words, if the cat was the dog, I wouldn't have to look at my stuff. Right, so I'm going to just keep blaming that the cat isn't a dog rather than look at myself. So I'm just going to keep blaming that Fred's being lazy rather than look at my own stuff. So for me to say that Fred should stop being lazy is futile because that's what Fred does. And possibly I'm the only one who judges him as being lazy. But here's the thing, actually. For me to project lazy onto anybody, or anger onto anybody, or stupidity onto anybody, or anything that bugs me onto anybody, I've got to find someone who carries that vibration. Now, my unconscious, of course, does that. That's why they bring them into me. So when I project my stuff outwards onto people, I'm projecting onto people that have that quality. But from Fred's point of view, he doesn't mind being lazy. That's what he does. So should he stop being lazy? Of course not. He just has to do what he does. Now I get it, that I get upset when Fred's lazy, right? But should he stop being lazy? No. But is he an opportunity for me to have a look within myself? Yes. So the second question is always to get you to a yes. Because the first question is, should Fred stop being lazy? Or should the person stop being da-da-da-da-da? Okay? And the answer is always no. They don't need to. Sorry, did I say the second question is always to get you to yes? The second question is always to get you to no, right? Because should the person stop being the way they are? No, of course not. That's the way they are. None of my business to get them to change, really, even in the most intimate of settings, because that's the way they are. My business is the stuff that bugs me, and I need to do something about that. Nobody else, only me, right? So the third question, when I think the thought, at the time that I see Fred being lazy, when I think the thought that Fred should stop being lazy, how does it make me feel? Right? So the question is, when I think the thought that he or she should stop being da-da-da, how does it make me feel? Right? And of course the answer is, it really bugs me, it gets me angry, it gets me upset, it gets me emotional. So when I think the thought that Fred should stop being lazy, it's usually when I'm seeing him being lazy and I get all upset. So there's the key is in the question. When I think the thought that Fred should stop being lazy, I get upset. right? So it's not about Fred being lazy that upsets me. It's about my thought about Fred being lazy that's upset me, which means that I'm the one who's upsetting me via what I think about reality, right? So when I think that Fred should stop being lazy, I get upset, right? When I think, I get upset. When I think the thought, I get upset. Therefore, I am the cause of my upset, not Fred or anybody for that matter, ever. Right? It's a very important question. When I think the thought, I get upset. That's always the case. It's the thought about anything that upsets me or elevates me, right? Because the only thing that life ever is really is my thought about it. So the fourth question in Byron Katie's, she calls it The Work. You can get this at thework.com. It's a fantastic system, really, absolutely brilliant. And so the fourth question, if I couldn't think the thought, so if I had the ability to just take that thought out of my reality, out of my thought system, if I couldn't think the thought, how would I feel? So if I couldn't think the thought anymore, so when Fred's doing lazy down there, and if I can't, all of a sudden I just can't think he should stop being lazy, how am I going to feel? I'm going to be okay, right? And there's Fred still doing lazy. Right, so the third and the fourth question are getting me to see that I'm the cause of my upset. Nobody else, just me. Right, now then there's the turnaround. So you judge your neighbour, write it down, ask 4 questions, and then turn it around. Here's the magic of the whole system. So when I turn it around, I've got to say, because it's all me going on, right? I'm the only thing that's ever happening. Right, so the people in the outside world do what they do, and then I make a judgment of them, and because of the judgment I make, I either elevate myself or I reduce my emotional state because of what I think, right? It's because I'm the only thing going on. So the turnaround is that it's not that Fred's only there doing lazy because I've called him in from my unconscious to heal something that's imbalanced. I mean, it's not even coming in to heal it. It's just that the unconscious and everything that I am vibrationally matches with everything out there. And as I heal different aspects and areas of my life, I'll keep bringing in different people that will give me the opportunity to discover more in my unconscious world that needs healing. So if Fred's doing lazy and that upsets me, then he's only there because I'm doing lazy somewhere. So the turnaround is, instead of me saying Fred should stop being so lazy, I've got to say I should stop being so lazy. Right? In this particular case, I should stop being so lazy. Right? So I've got to look inside and see where am I being lazy, and for sure it will be there. You know, there's 2 areas of shadow. There's one where I'm just in denial of seeing it, so lazy, so I do lazy, and if I search I'll realize, oh yeah, I do lazy, and I'm avoiding recognizing that in myself. That's the first area. But the other area is possibly where you've been lazy as a child and you've been told off so harshly that you've said, I'm never going to be lazy again. And so you lock that never vibration inside of your system. And then because then you can't ever be lazy, which means you can't relax ever, can't let go. That means whenever you see anybody else doing lazy, it really upsets you because you won't give it to yourself because you're so proactive and busy all the time and you can't be lazy. And anyone else who's lazy, they might not even be lazy. They might just be relaxed, and you get so upset because you can't do the relaxing. So that's how to look at it. That's one example, but you can use this with any judgment whatsoever. It's a fantastic system. Thework.com is where you'll find that script, but this is exactly what it is. Judge your neighbour, write it down, ask 4 questions, turn it around. Remember, when you judge your neighbour, write it down. They should be. You write down the positive, the opposite of what they are. If they were perfect in my reality, what should they be? They should be. And then you'd ask the 4 questions, write it down. No, you judge your neighbour, write it down, ask the 4 questions and turn it around. Have an absolutely fantastic day when you watch this. Thank you so much.